In Flow, the psychology of optimal experience. Psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi explores one of the deepest questions in human life. What makes us truly happy? His answer is not wealth, fame, or luck, but the ability to control our attention and become fully immersed in the present moment. Csikszentmihalyi's research revealed that people feel most alive when they are in a state he called flow, a state of deep focus where time disappears, self-consciousness fades, and action feels effortless. It's the moment when a musician loses themselves in melody, a writer in words, an athlete in movement, or a craftsman in creation. In flow, we are not chasing happiness, we are living it. Unlike fleeting pleasure, flow is a sustainable form of joy that arises from engagement and challenge. It occurs when our skills perfectly match the difficulty of what we are doing. Not too easy to bore us, not too hard to frustrate us. This delicate balance turns ordinary moments into extraordinary experiences. Csikszentmihalyi's message is simple but revolutionary. A meaningful life is not found. It is created moment by moment through attention. When we learn to direct our focus deliberately, we regain control over our inner world. In a distracted age, flow feels timeless. A reminder that fulfillment does not come from external rewards, but from mastering the art of immersion. True happiness, as Csikszentmihalyi shows, is not the absence of effort, but the joy found within it. Section 1. What is flow? Flow is the state where action and awareness merge into one, where we become so fully absorbed in what we're doing that we lose track of time, self, and everything else. In this state, effort feels effortless. We are neither bored nor anxious. We are completely present. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi discovered this phenomenon while studying artists, athletes, and scientists who described moments of total immersion. Painters forgot to eat or sleep while working on a canvas. Rock climbers described each move as both instinctive and deliberate. Chess players spoke of time vanishing as their focus deepened. Despite their differences, all described the same inner state: clarity, control, and joy in the process itself. Flow occurs when challenge and skill are in perfect balance. If a task is too easy, we become bored. If it's too difficult, we become anxious. But when both align, the mind focuses completely. Distractions fade, and we enter an optimal zone of creativity and performance. In flow, we are not motivated by reward or recognition, but by the activity itself. Csikszentmihalyi called this autotelic experience, from the Greek words auto self and telos purpose. The experience is its own reward. During flow, the brain releases dopamine, enhancing concentration and satisfaction. The sense of self temporarily dissolves, not because we lose identity, but because we become one with what we are doing. In short, flow is the purest form of engagement, a state where doing and being are indistinguishable, and happiness arises naturally from complete involvement. Section 2. The elements of flow. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi identified a set of universal conditions that define every flow experience, the psychological ingredients that turn ordinary activities into moments of transcendence. Flow doesn't happen by accident. It arises when these elements come together in harmony. Here are the core components of flow. 1. Clear goals. Every flow state begins with clarity. When you know exactly what you're trying to do, whether it's writing a paragraph, playing a song, or running a race. Your mind aligns behind a single intention. Clear goals, focus attention, and eliminate confusion. 2. Immediate feedback. Flow thrives on real-time feedback. You must be able to sense how well you're doing and adjust instantly. A musician hears when a note is off. A coder sees when a program runs smoothly. This ongoing feedback loop keeps you fully engaged. 3. Balance between challenge and skill. This is the essence of flow. When your abilities perfectly match the task's difficulty, the mind enters a zone of effortless focus. Too little challenge brings boredom. Too much creates anxiety. The sweet spot between the two is where magic happens. 4. Deep concentration. In flow, attention becomes laser-focused. Distractions fade away, and every mental resource is directed toward the task. You forget yourself, yet feel more alive than ever. 5. Loss of self-consciousness. The inner critic goes silent. You're no longer thinking about how you look, what others think, or even how much time has passed. The ego dissolves into pure action. 6. Altered sense of time. Hours can pass like minutes, or minutes can feel eternal. Time bends to the rhythm of immersion, another sign that you are fully present. 7. Autotelic experience. Intrinsic reward. The activity becomes its own reward. You do it for the joy of doing, not for recognition or outcome. Together, these elements create the perfect psychological balance for peak performance and deep satisfaction. Csikszentmihalyi calls this the optimal experience, not because it's rare, but because it represents the highest form of human engagement. Section 3. The conditions that create flow. While anyone can experience moments of flow, Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi explains that flow doesn't appear randomly. It flourishes under specific psychological and environmental conditions. We can intentionally create these conditions to invite flow into our lives more often. Here are the main factors that nurture this optimal state. 1. A structured environment. Flow thrives in clarity, not chaos. You need a clear task, a defined goal, and the freedom to act. Ambiguity divides attention, but structure channels it. Whether writing, designing, or playing a sport, the mind relaxes when it knows what it must do. 2. A manageable challenge. Flow emerges at the border between boredom and anxiety, where the challenge slightly exceeds your current ability. If it's too easy, you disengage. Too hard, you shut down. Growth happens in this narrow band of difficulty, where focus deepens naturally. 3. Focused attention. Distraction is the enemy of flow. To enter the zone, you must commit your full attention. Csikszentmihalyi describes this as a kind of mental surrender, a single-minded immersion that silences the rest of the world. 4. Intrinsic motivation. Flow requires genuine interest. You can't fake engagement. When you do something for love, curiosity, or personal meaning, not for reward, your brain naturally enters the flow state. 5. A sense of control. Flow does not mean rigidity. It means feeling capable and confident within the challenge, a balance of freedom and discipline. You act with intention, yet remain open to the moment. 6. Freedom from self-judgment. The fear of failure or judgment breaks flow instantly. The mind must be safe to experiment, fail, and adjust. Playfulness and curiosity, not perfectionism, open the gateway to flow. When these conditions align, attention becomes effortless and time disappears. The task itself becomes a meditation, a complete merging of mind, body, and action. As Csikszentmihalyi writes, flow is the process of achieving happiness through control over one's inner life. It's not about escaping reality, but mastering how you experience it. Section 4. The Autotelic Personality. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi introduces a fascinating concept in flow. The Autotelic Personality, a type of person who naturally experiences flow more often because they find joy and meaning within the activity itself, not from external rewards. The word autotelic comes from the Greek roots auto self and telos goal. It describes someone whose purpose is self-contained, who acts not for fame, money, or validation, but for the intrinsic satisfaction of the process. Autotelic individuals are not necessarily more talented or intelligent. They are simply more attentive, curious, and self-driven. They approach every experience, from work to conversation, as an opportunity to learn and engage. They enjoy challenges for their own sake and see effort as part of the reward. According to Csikszentmihalyi, autotelic people share certain traits. 1. Curiosity. They are genuinely interested in life's details, always observing and asking questions. 2. Persistence. They push through difficulty with a calm determination, seeing obstacles as puzzles, not problems. 3. Low self-centeredness. They are less focused on ego or outcomes and more on the experience itself. 4. Intrinsic motivation. Their energy comes from within. They don't need constant encouragement or reward. What's remarkable is that anyone can cultivate an autotelic mindset. It begins with shifting focus from what you get to how you grow. When we find meaning in the process, writing the paragraph, painting the stroke, solving the equation, we transform work into play and life into art. Csikszentmihalyi calls this the secret of happiness. To enjoy life, one must create conditions for deep involvement, even in the smallest moments. The Autotelic Personality reminds us that joy doesn't come from escaping effort, but from embracing it, when effort itself becomes a form of peace. Section 5. Flow and work. Contrary to popular belief, Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi found that people experience flow more often at work than during leisure. Why? Because work naturally provides the structure and challenge that allow flow to arise, clear goals, feedback, responsibility, and purpose. Leisure, on the other hand, is often unstructured and passive, leading to boredom or distraction instead of engagement. When approached with the right mindset, work becomes one of the richest sources of fulfillment. In flow, work transforms from obligation to creation. Tasks that once felt routine become meaningful when they challenge our abilities just enough to demand focus, creativity, and persistence. The satisfaction of solving a complex problem, improving a skill, or achieving mastery gives us a sense of progress, a fundamental ingredient of happiness. Csikszentmihalyi calls this the paradox of work and leisure. People often dream of freedom from work, yet they feel most alive when fully engaged in it. Leisure without purpose can easily lead to emptiness, while work approached with curiosity and attention can lead to joy. He writes, "The best moments in our lives are not the passive, receptive, relaxing times. They occur when one's body or mind is stretched to its limits in a voluntary effort to accomplish something difficult and worthwhile." Flow in work happens when the goals are clear and meaningful. The challenge stretches your ability, but doesn't overwhelm it. Feedback, internal or external, is immediate. Distractions are minimized and focus is total. When we approach our work as craftsmen, with pride, patience, and passion, we unlock the flow state. It's not the job title that matters, but the quality of attention we bring to it. Ultimately, Csikszentmihalyi teaches that work isn't the opposite of happiness. It's one of its purest forms when done with purpose. Section 6. Flow and Everyday Life. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi reminds us that flow isn't reserved for artists, athletes, or innovators. It can be experienced by anyone, anywhere, at any time. The key is not what we do, but how we do it. Everyday moments, cooking, walking, writing, gardening, even having a conversation, can become gateways to flow when approached with full presence and intention. Flow happens naturally when attention meets meaning. The more we focus on what we're doing, and the less we worry about results, the richer the experience becomes. Washing dishes can turn into meditation. Playing with a child can become timeless joy. Solving a small problem can feel like discovery. Every activity holds the potential for depth if we bring awareness to it. However, modern life often pulls us away from these moments. Our minds drift to notifications, comparisons, and distractions, breaking the link between action and attention. Csikszentmihalyi argues that happiness depends on how we structure consciousness. We can either scatter our focus or train it like a lens. To live a flow-centered life, he suggests simple but profound practices. Do one thing at a time. Seek challenges that stretch you slightly beyond comfort. Replace passive entertainment with active engagement. Turn routine tasks into rituals of focus and care. Over time, these moments of immersion build a sense of inner order, a stable, peaceful awareness that gives life rhythm and coherence. Flow, then, becomes a philosophy of living, to meet each moment with curiosity, to be absorbed rather than distracted, and to find meaning not beyond life's simplicity, but within it. As Csikszentmihalyi writes, the quality of experience, more than anything else, determines the quality of life. Section 7. Obstacles to flow. Although the state of flow is available to anyone, modern life makes it increasingly difficult to access. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi warns that distraction, anxiety, and passivity are the greatest enemies of focus and fulfillment. We live in an era where attention is constantly under siege. And since attention is the raw material of happiness, losing control of it means losing control of life itself. Here are the key barriers to flow and how to overcome them. 1. Distraction and fragmented attention. Technology, constant noise, and multitasking scatter the mind, preventing deep concentration. True flow requires uninterrupted focus, a single-minded commitment to the present. Solution: set aside distraction-free spaces and treat focus like a ritual. Protect your attention as your most valuable resource. 2. Anxiety and fear of failure. When the challenge feels too great, or when we obsess over results, fear replaces curiosity. Anxiety breaks immersion by pulling us into self-doubt. Solution: shift focus from outcome to process. Approach challenges as opportunities to learn, not tests to pass. 3. Boredom and lack of challenge. Tasks that are too easy or repetitive lead to apathy. Without stimulation, the mind disengages and seeks shallow pleasure. Solution: increase the level of difficulty or add new meaning to the task. Turn routine into mastery. 4. Passive pleasure. Modern entertainment offers comfort without engagement, a false form of relaxation that numbs rather than nourishes. Csikszentmihalyi distinguishes pleasure, momentary comfort, from enjoyment, growth through challenge. Solution: replace passive consumption with active participation. Create, move, learn, build. 5. Ego and over self-consciousness. Flow vanishes when we become overly aware of ourselves, how we look, how we're judged, or whether we're good enough. Solution: let go of the need to perform. Surrender to the task until the doer and the doing become one. In short, the path to flow is not about adding more to life. It's about removing what blocks presence. When we master our attention, we reclaim our freedom. The future will belong, Csikszentmihalyi writes, to those who learn to control their inner experience. Section 8. The meaning of a flow life. For Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, flow is more than a temporary state of focus. It's a philosophy of living. A life built around flow is a life of purpose, engagement, and self-mastery. It's not about escaping the world, but participating in it fully, with awareness and creativity. When we organize our lives around meaningful challenges and experiences that absorb our full attention, we create what Csikszentmihalyi calls psychic order. Our mind becomes calm, our goals clear, and our actions aligned. This order within the self is the foundation of lasting happiness, not the fleeting kind that depends on luck or circumstance, but the kind we cultivate. A flow life is one where work becomes a source of satisfaction, not stress. Leisure becomes active creation, not passive escape. Relationships become deeper through presence, empathy, and shared purpose. In such a life, every day contains small moments of transcendence, moments where the world feels coherent, the mind feels free, and the self feels united with action. These moments accumulate, shaping a sense of meaning that runs through everything. Csikszentmihalyi argues that happiness is not something we feel, it is something we make. By mastering our attention and intentionally creating conditions for flow, we design a life that is both productive and joyful. Ultimately, living in flow means reclaiming authorship of our consciousness. We stop drifting and start directing, not chasing pleasure, but creating it through presence and purpose. To control consciousness means to be able to control the quality of experience, and therefore the quality of life itself. In closing, Csikszentmihalyi invites us to see life not as a series of obligations, but as a canvas for immersion. Flow is where time dissolves, ego quiets, and the self meets the fullness of life. It is, in his words, the way to happiness that lies in mastery over one's own consciousness. To live in flow is to live awake, fully present, fully alive. Download this summary in high-quality MP3 format at MindShelf.net. For more timeless book summaries on spiritual growth, psychology, self-improvement, and the art of living wisely, subscribe to MindShelf on YouTube and keep expanding your inner library of wisdom. Grow in awareness. Live in balance. This is MindShelf.